Did you know that payphone technology has actually found new life in today's modern cell phone world? This is Michael with Field Tech Academy. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about where these phones are now used and show you some basic troubleshooting steps. One of my direct clients gives me service calls to work on these actual phones. I'm going to show you some of the interior parts and how they're replaced and how everything works together. Let's get into it. This phone technology is used in prisons and jails. Obviously, it's built like a payphone to withstand the abuse of prisoners. It's a pretty simple piece of equipment, and it's very easy to swap parts with this. This will be secured with 4 screws that are security tips. That way the prisoners, in theory, won't have that tip to replace. Your main components are the handset, the keypad, and the hook switch. The keypad is basically the motherboard of the entire phone. We'll take out the keypad first, and then I'll show you how to replace the handset as well as the hook switch. When you're taking the keypad out, you want to make sure you know where the plugs are going so you can put them back the way they came out. The polarity on these does not matter. This actually does matter. And you'll see on this plug, this will have a white sticker on it. Then there's a white marker right here at the edge of the pins to tell you which way to line up the white sticker on the connector. Once you've removed your connectors, just 4 screws. Now this is a grounding strap, so you want to make sure when you take this off that you connect this back in. Once you remove the 4 screws, this will just simply lift out. So all these other connectors you don't have to mess with. You just have to take off the hook switch and the handset, and then you have your keypad. As you can see, that's it. And then you just have the cutout holes here where it fits perfectly. You'll notice on the end of the handset, there's a plastic piece here. That's to keep it from shorting out on the motherboard. And we're just going to put that back in to where these line up, just like that. You want to make sure that none of your buttons have gotten stuck and are off-centered. And then we reattach, and then we put our screws back. If there's no communication and you've checked all of your normal cabling, then you know that the circuit board has gone bad. Or if any of the buttons aren't passing tone, like when you press a 1, a 2, or 3, to where it's recognizing it on the other end of the system, even though you may hear it in the handset, the circuit board may be bad to where it's not actually passing the sound of that tone onto the system. Now we reattach all of our cables. These are just little inserts. White label, white pin. To avoid this getting caught up, the easiest way is to just do a little circle, a little coil. That'll compress that a little bit so that it doesn't get in the way and get pinched when you're putting it back on the wall. Now let's do the hook switch. If this goes bad, when you pick up the handset, you're not going to hear dial tone. It's not going to activate the phone. So if that is your symptom, then you know that the hook switch is gone bad. Many times you'll have prisoners that will take the handset and they'll beat on that hook switch and break the metal on it. Run into a lot of interesting situations in the jails. And when you're in the jail working on these, of course, you're trying to take in as little as possible because you don't want to have a lot of things that might get taken by the inmates. You also don't want to give them anything that could be a weapon. So you got to keep your eyes and ears on all of your equipment and your tools. I take in the bare minimum, which may be like a screwdriver and pair of needle nose. That way I don't have to worry about things disappearing. So there is your hook switch. As you'll see on the front, this is just a piece of metal. And that inserts there. Make sure you put it in this way and not that way because the handset won't hang. The other fun thing about working in a jail is you're basically in a fishbowl. You got a bunch of prisoners that are bored and you are the new entertainment for the day. So you'll get a lot of interesting comments said to you and conversations started, and they'll be looking over your shoulder going, oh, you know, blah, 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 blah. So, makes things kind of awkward. Fortunately, in the pods, you're always going to have an escort. So between the two of you should be able to watch your back and make sure that nothing happens that shouldn't. Now, replacing the handset's a little more complicated. We have a set screw here that we have to undo. And this is why I bring my needle nose, because typically you don't have a lot of leverage room and it's usually pretty tight. So you're going to need something to break it loose. Once you get it started, you're usually pretty good. So you're going to unscrew this. And again, this is all designed to be sturdy and hold up to abuse. So you've got this pin now loose. So this is going to feed in like this. And it's going to unhook from right here. Okay. Once you unhook that, then you need to replace the actual handset. This is a protective sleeve on the wiring. It's actually pinched into right here. Usually when this comes from the manufacturer and you get replacement parts, this will actually be squeezed a little bit, because this will not pinch when it's on the complete round portion. So this should force out just like that. And you can see that this has actually been pinched. Another reason to have the needle nose, in case you get one that's not pinched well enough, you got to get these teeth to be able to slide back onto this covering. Now once you got this unhooked, you've got yourself unhooked here, you're going to have to actually take this set screw all the way out, because you have to take this through this opening right here. And as you can see, it will not go through with the plastic cover on it. So you're going to have to take this off in the pod and not lose it, because again, you want to protect against shorting out. Now this will fit through the hole. There's your hook. You've got your handset cabling right here. I'm going to pull this loose. And this simply slides out. Of course, we're going to have to undo the loop. Take your bad handset, toss it, get your new one. You're going to thread it back through here. This is going to hook, so we've got to get this to go through here. It's going to come from the inside. We're going to put our set screw back on it. And then we have to get this to pinch onto here, otherwise they can just pull this out. So you need to find the flattened side of this metal, and you're going to press it into that. Just needs to be enough to grab it. And we're going to redo our hook over here. Pull it back to flush, put our set screw in. Remember our plastic protective piece. And you can stuff this under the keypad if you want, because again, that's going to protect it from shorting out. Put our loop back in. White label, white pin. Now, some of the older handsets will actually have 4 individual wires instead of this all-in-one. If you run into one of those, it's the same kind of clip as this, but you need to notate when you're taking it off which color goes to which spot. So that's a modern day payphone that's still in use, and it is really a payphone. The prisoners have to have an account, they have to have that funded, and when they pick up the handset to make a phone call, it requests that they give them their PIN and their password, and it charges the time that they're on the phone against their account. So payphones still exist in today's world. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and check out my playlist on YouTube that is my Field Tech IT service call examples. A bunch more videos on unique equipment that we deal with every day out in the field. As always, let's get you out in the field making money. I'll see you in the next video.